Yo, 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 what's up, all you burners, stoners, and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman?
How the hell are you?
Full of snots.
Hey, all you vipers out there in the world. Hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal. But I want to tell you something. Mrs. Weedman and I will be covering the latest cannabis research, science, and health today, political news, international news, and Mrs. Weedman's going to end it with some cannabis culture. Now, we're going to get normal with some Red Hots grown by Lifted Microbrewery, this was given to us by Midwest Terps back at the Midwest Terp Off, Michigan versus Illinois, and I am super stoked about smoking this because Red Hots is a slightly sativa-dominant strain created through crossing the potent Tropicana cookies and Tangy strains, named for the iconic candy Red Hots, packs a delicious flavor and happy, bright high that is a great option for lazy afternoon when you need to get doing some things on your to-do list. The taste of Red Hots is just like the name, say treat. Ms. Weedman loves Red Hots. With a sweet and sugary berry candy taste ascended by zesty, spicy oranges and a hint of fresh red fruits. The aroma is very similar, with a spicy, peppery orange overtone accented by hints of earthiness and a touch of sweet fruit red candies. The Red Hots high will wash you over quickly, filling your mind with soaring sense of bright energy. You'll feel utterly euphoric, super creative, ready to work on anything artistic at hand. These effects will grow and grow with no ceiling, which can aggravate anxiety at times, though, because of the high sativa. Some people aren't used to it. In combination with the super high THC percentage, these effects make Red Hots a great option for treating experienced patients with a variety of conditions, including chronic fatigue, chronic pain, chronic stress, or PTSD, nausea and depression, or mood swings. This bud has a fluffy and oversized rounded forest green nugs with dark amber undertones, thin dark amber hairs, and frosty coating of tiny sparkling gold-tinted white crystal trichomes. And this is Red Hots, grown by Lifted Microbrewery. Thank you for throwing us to the cause, everybody. Appreciate you. And when I was looking at this bud, boy,
it was very pretty.
Oh, gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Tight, but soft and sticky.
Oh.
Yeah.
I smelt it when you were grinding it.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Tell us about 8decades.com.
Yeah.
Well, I get to smoke this wonderful, wonderful nug.
Yeah. Head on over to 8decades.com. That is where you will find our cannabis lifestyle brand. That is 8, the word, spelled out, EIGHT, decades.com. We created a really cool smoke set, which if you're watching us, you'll see it on display. We've got storage jars for all of your cannabis goods. We have hemp clothing. We have steamrollers. We have grinders. We have all sorts of good stuff. But we also have Weedman 420 swag.
Got a shirt on right here, everybody.
Yeah.
Take a look.
So head on over, check us out, read more about what we do and what our agenda is and what we're trying to accomplish with our brands. And if you sign up for the newsletter, you will get free shipping on your first order. And as Mr. Weedman always says, you supporting 8 Decades supports the show and helps us pay for Shawty, our producer.
We love her
Yeah.
and we need her. Oh, boy, does that taste wonderful.
Yeah, I have no taste buds.
Yes, right now. So
I don't know.
And keep it light, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah.
Mrs. Weedman's got a very bad cough right now, everybody. So she's gonna keep it light and tight.
Going
right
easy.
Now. Yes, going a little easy.
Got my tea for the show. It's way too hot to drink.
It burnt your mouth when we started.
Yeah. So,
well, everybody, I hope you're enjoying this heat dome that's going on right now in the Midwest, all the way to the East Coast, all the way to the Southeast. And also, I was driving home today and my outside car thermometer said 105 degrees. That's without the heat index.
The heat index.
I was like, boy, oh boy, it is hot outside.
Yeah, and I walked out. I walked out a couple times. I was like, it's not that bad. And then you walk like 10 feet and you're completely sweating. Oh, yeah, it's really hot.
The heat dome, everybody. We're in it right now, all the way until the 5th of July.
How many like new weather names can the world come up with?
I don't know. This is a heat dome.
This is a heat dome. This is the first heat dome ever.
I don't know if it's the first heat dome ever.
It's the first one that's ever used that name.
Yeah, that's true. Crazy.
Or that they've told us that it's called a heat dome.
Yeah. So everybody out there, please stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Stay indoors if you have to. if you're outside working, construction, or any kind of work outdoors, hydrate. Make sure you have cooling stuff on. Don't, make sure you're covering your head. Just protect yourself out there.
And
everybody.
I also think it's important not to overuse your utilities, because we're in like a critical time and everybody needs power and everybody needs their services to work. And if we're all cranking everything, because we want to, live at, 65 degrees in our house, well, guess what? It's not cool.
Yeah.
Conserve a little bit right now.
We do need to conserve energy, and we do need to protect everybody out there. So if you see people out there that are homeless right now and you have a extra bottle of water,
hydrate.
And you see them just literally melting on the streets, give them a bottle of water.
Mm-hmm.
Do something. Help some people out there. Be kind, like I always say to everybody. Everybody needs it right now. So, just I pray that everybody out there just really protects themselves in this crazy weather. We got wildfires going on in Utah and where else? Colorado, earthquakes. Oh my God, Venezuela got whacked. California got hit.
Fires are starting. Floods are happening in Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky got whacked with those floods.
Tornadoes all over Illinois.
Idaho got whacked with the hailstorm that looked like a snowstorm. It's crazy out there, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be lighthearted about this. So I just want you all to know out there, we love you. We're praying for everybody out there to be safe and just,
it's pretty serious shit.
Yeah, the world is on fire right now. I mean, over in Europe, they had their heat dome, and they were dying. France, I think like over 1,400 people died too from this heat. So just protect yourselves out there, everybody. We love you. And just around the world who's listening to us, just
stay safe.
Yeah, please do. Here's something crazy.
What?
There was a giraffe that decided to go on vacation.
Yeah?
Yes. So, decided to go on vacation. So every once in a while, a story comes along that makes you scratch your head and say, wait, what? A giraffe did what? Well, in Texas, they delivered one of those moments with Gracie, the giraffe.
Oh.
So cute, Gracie.
That's a sweet name.
Yes. Decided she was done with the regular ranch routine and took herself into a little solo adventure through the Texas Hill countryside.
Oh?
Yes. So Gracie, a young giraffe, escaped from Cedar Hollow Ranch and disappeared into the rugged Texas landscape. I want to know, first and foremost, how did this giraffe escape and nobody...
From a zoo?
No, from a ranch.
A ranch?
Yes.
You're allowed to just have giraffes? Maybe it was like a rescue.
Rescue,
kind of
yeah. Maybe in Texas, they do things different down there. You can do a lot of things different in Texas. So now, when most animals go missing, you're looking for paw prints, tracks, maybe a little rustling in the bush, right? But when this missing animal is a giraffe standing about 11 feet tall, you'd think search party would just be able to see this fucking giant thing walking in the tree. Yeah, right. The neck, right? I mean, it's all neck, And the search became a full-blown operation, because with helicopter sightings from locals and even reward offering the information leading to the safe return. The funny part, Gracie wasn't causing trouble. She was basically just out there living her best life.
I bet she was.
Right? Hanging around the Texas countryside, finding food, water, enjoying some freedom. Right? So after nearly 2 weeks.
Whoa.
Not a day,
evasive.
Not 2 days.
Yeah.
2 weeks on the loose, Gracie was finally spotted from above about 4 miles from her enclosure.
Only that far?
Yeah. And she was found healthy and safe, proving that sometimes the best vacation plans are the ones you accidentally make by walking through the wrong gate.
Oh.
The whole adventure was captured the internet's attention because, let's be honest, a missing giraffe is not your everyday headline.
Yeah. That's cute.
So you don't wake up expecting to hear breaking news. Keep your eyes open. There may be a giraffe cruising through town. So here's to Gracie, the tallest Texas tourist nobody planned for. She got her adventure, made headlines around the world, and probably has the best you won't believe what happened on my vacation story in the animal kingdom.
I bet.
When I was reading this article, I was like, how the fuck do you not see a giraffe?
Well, if she went into an area that was wooded, right?
Yeah, but wouldn't you think? It's 11 feet tall.
Dense woods.
I get it, but
she had to get there.
11 feet tall, and you can't find
yellow.
Gracie? I don't get it. I'm so confused. For 2 weeks. Okay, I understand.
Look up.
I can understand for 2 or 3 days, Gracie might have been missing.
Yeah.
2 fucking weeks? Are you kidding
and
me?
she was only 4 miles from the place.
Right. Exactly. I don't get it.
All right, but we can't pick on them because we don't know.
I'm not picking on anybody. I'm proud of Gracie for taking that vacation.
I want to hear her story. I want to know what she tells the other giraffe. You guys, I saw these people. You wouldn't believe what they were doing.
I mean, seriously, like I'm still dumbfounded.
I ate some of the best leaves. You wouldn't believe it.
I was free. Like I was in Africa. I was running around and no one was looking for me and I got to live some life for a minute. And now I'm back on the ranch.
Oh, shit. And I got to go back there.
Well, Gracie, here's to you. Hopefully you got to enjoy a moment of freedom and got to live some life and have some fucking fun. Like I tell you all out there, be Gracie. Go escape and go on vacation and go have some fun because this is the holiday week. 4th of July week going into the weekend. July 4th is our 250 years of America, right? Mm-hmm. Pretty amazing. So we've been around for 250 years and still learning and growing every day on how to be a better country.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So everybody out there, go enjoy some life this weekend. It is my favorite holiday of the year because there's just barbecues, fireworks, and just drinking some beers and smoking some doinks. So go have some fucking fun, everybody. Go stress relief. Go enjoy your friends and family and have some fucking fun. Like Gracie. Yes. Be Gracie for a day.
Be Gracie.
You ready to get the show started?
Yeah, let's
do this. A new study highlighted by Science Daily titled "Scientists Found a Cannabis Compound That Relieves Pain Without the High" is shining a spotlight on something cannabis fans have been talking about for years, the power of terpenes. Researchers found that certain cannabis-derived aromatic compounds may help reduce pain without producing the intoxicating effects associated with THC. When most people think about cannabis and pain relief, THC and CBD usually steal the spotlight. But cannabis is basically a giant chemistry set created by nature, and there are hundreds of compounds working together. Terpenes are the molecules responsible for many of the smells and flavors we recognize. Everything from citrusy strains to those funky what's growing in this jar aromas. Researchers looked at several cannabis terpenes and found they showed promising pain-relieving effects in animal models involving conditions like fibromyalgia-related pain and pain following surgery. One terpene called geraniol, I probably butchered that word, geraniol, Geraniol, stood out as showing particularly strong results. Other terpenes studied including compounds like linalool, beta-carotene, and alpha-humulene. Now, before everybody starts saying, cool, so my favorite strain is basically a medicine cabinet. Still early research. These results came from laboratory and animal studies, which means scientists still need what? More research, especially human clinical trials, before making medical claims. But this is exactly why cannabis research keeps getting more interesting. For years, cannabis conversations were mostly about THC percentages. The bigger the number on the label, the more attention it got. But science keeps showing us there's ways more going on the inside the plant. The future of cannabis medicine might not just be about chasing the strongest THC, which we have talked about so many times on this show. It could be about finding the right combination of cannabinoids and terpenes for specific needs, which we've talked about so many times on this show. Give me all the cannabinoids, give me all the terpenes, give me all the flavonoids, give me all the flavorols, give me all the esters. I don't know. So thinking about it like a recipe. THC might be one ingredient, CBD might be another. Plus, don't forget there's other cannabinoids too that we all love. CBG fights inflammation, great for digestion. You also have CBC, great for brain health, also great for getting rid of acne. We also have THCV, which is the diet cannabinoid, helps you not want to eat, gives you a little energy. There is so many more. I'm not even mentioning. There's just a few. CBN, great for sleep. How can I miss that? $1 billion cannabinoid now. But remember, it's about the whole plant. So sometimes it's the little things that bring the whole dish together. Miss Weedman made some enchiladas yesterday, and I had to have them again today because it was the whole thing. It was absolutely delicious. So cannabis might not work the same way. The exciting part is these compounds appear to offer possible paths towards pain relief without traditional high associated with THC. That could open the doors for people who want potential benefits of cannabis compounds but don't want impairment. So while we're still waiting for more research, one thing is becoming clear. The cannabis plant has been hiding a lot more secrets than just THC and CBD. Every time scientists peel back another layer, the plant says, oh, you thought you knew me. Hold my nutrients. The future of cannabis science might not just be about getting higher. It could be about getting smarter about what's really inside the plant. Ugh, such a good article. Such a good article. Ugh. It's what we've been preaching about for 7 years, right?
Yep.
And talking about as we've learned more and more every year. Like I said, we are not experts. We learn, educate ourselves to do this show to help educate others. That's what this premise of this show has been about since day one.
Mm-hmm.
I've been talking about that. We were not experts. I don't want to be an expert at all.
Right.
Because then I'll start learning and growing.
Mm-hmm.
So the more I learned, the more, and Mrs. Weedman learns, hopefully we can teach you by what we learned.
Mm-hmm.
We do the work for you. Just listen and share the show.
Yeah. And if you're new to the show, we smoke the strain at the start of the show so that it helps you understand the changes that happen in people's behaviors. Sometimes we're reading slower. Sometimes we're reading faster. Sometimes we're laughing a lot. Sometimes we can't stay focused. So
sometimes I screw up on words.
Yeah. And then sometimes you'll see we'll have different reactions or different behaviors based on the same strain. So it's good for helping people understand how consumption affects your behavior. So it's all part of our intention.
Yes. Mr. Weedman with the killer at the ending right there.
That?
Yes. So here's something interesting. How the vape boom is forcing cannabis to grow up.
Yep.
Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Yeah, the cannabis industry has come a long way from the days of what's the strongest stuff you got. Consumers today are becoming a lot more curious about what they're actually putting into their bodies. And according to a recent Forbes article titled, How the Vape Boom is Forcing Cannabis to Grow Up, the rise of cannabis vapes is pushing the industry towards something it has needed for a long time: better transparency and consistency. Vapes have become one of the biggest categories in cannabis, with convenience, portability, and discreet use making them especially popular with newer generations of consumers. The article points out that younger cannabis users are approaching products differently. They want to understand dosage, effects, and quality, kind of like how people check nutrition labels, caffeine amounts, or alcohol percentages before making a choice. With smoking flower, everyone's experience can vary depending on how much they inhale, how long they hold it, and how the strength of the flower is. With vapes, the expectation is becoming more precise. Consumers want to know what each pull will deliver. The article calls this the industry's dose opacity problem, basically meaning cannabis hasn't always done the best job explaining exactly what customers are getting. While a bottle of wine tells you alcohol percentage, a supplement tells you how many milligrams are inside, cannabis is now being pushed toward the same level of accountability. That's where technology is stepping in to solve the problem. Newer vape devices are being designed with features like temperature control, digital displays, and more advanced heating systems to create a more consistent experience. Some companies are even working toward devices that can better track dosing, which could especially become important as medical cannabis continues moving into the world. The article also highlights that consistency matters because cannabis is becoming more normalized. Medical patients don't want something that might work. They need products that they can understand and use reliably. If cannabis wants to compete alongside traditional medicine and wellness products, being able to measure dose and explain effects will become a huge part of the future. Now, longtime cannabis consumers might hear all of this and think, wait a minute, we're doing just fine with a lighter and a grinder. And fair enough. There's always going to be a place for classic flower and its uses. But just like coffee went from a basic cup of joe to having temperature-controlled machines and apps tracking your caffeine intake, cannabis is entering a more technology-driven era. The vape boom is forcing the entire industry to become more professional, more transparent, and more focused on the consumer experience. The days of guessing what you're getting are slowly being replaced with a future where people know exactly what's in their products and how they will affect them. And honestly, if they can make a vape that tells people exactly what's left in the cartridge before it magically disappears overnight, that might be the biggest innovation of all.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
That whole article was really good, though. So if you go on we usually have the articles listed, so read
there'll
the
be
whole
a link.
article. Yeah.
It would be cool if you could hit I want a 10 milligram dose. and you hit a button, and whether you could pull on it 3 times to get those 10 milligrams, or you could pull on it once, depending on how much combustion it creates,
Yep.
that you know how many milligrams you're getting.
Yeah.
Because I think that vape users in general just puff on those things everyone I see with vapes, they just keep puffing on it.
Destroy the endocannabinoid system,
Yeah.
everybody, when you're
And they're
smoking
just over-intoxicating.
95% of THC percentage, and you're just hitting that thing.
Well, and it's my experience with the distillate vapes is that it's just a peak and crash. It's just a super short and sweet high.
Mm-hmm.
And so, every 10, 15 minutes, people are puffing on it.
Just like the nicotine vapes.
Yeah.
You're made to puff on it constantly.
Yeah. So a dose control would be that would be dope. Really fantastic.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It would be good. A new study published in the Science directed tilted cognitive performance and subjective effects the morning after last use of smoked cannabis by adults who use cannabis frequently. This is a really good article. Wow. So this was like an observational study is exploring a question that comes up more and more as cannabis becomes mainstream. Does smoking cannabis at night have effects on your brain the next morning?
Tell me,
this was really
we do
good.
This.
Yes. Researchers looked at regular cannabis consumers to see if there was measurable difference in memory, attention, and feelings of intoxication 12 to 15 hours after smoking. And the results were more complicated than a simple yes or no. The study followed 65 adults who regularly used cannabis and compared them with 65 adults who had not used cannabis in the previous month. Cannabis groups smoked legally purchased pre-rolls at home in the evening, then came into the lab the next morning for testing. Researchers looked at memory, problem-solving speed, and even measured THC levels in blood and oral fluid. The big headline: the cannabis group did not show significant overall difference in cognitive performance compared with the non-cannabis group the next morning. Pretty good. That means things like basic memory test and task performances were not dramatically worse simply because someone had smoked cannabis the night before. But, and this is where cannabis science gets interesting, the researchers found that some important details hiding underneath the main result. When they look specifically at people using higher potency products, especially infused joints with much higher THC levels, they found some signs of reduced performance in certain areas, particularly delayed verbal recall, which is basically the ability to remember information after some time has passed. In other words, the person who smoked a standard cannabis product and the person who smoked a very high THC-infused product may not have the exact same next day experience. Interesting. And that makes sense when you think about how cannabis products have changed. The study noted that cannabis potency has increased dramatically over the years, with many products today reaching THC levels that previous researchers' studies didn't always examine. Back in the day, people weren't walking into a dispensary looking at 30% THC flower or concentrate-infused pre-rolls. Today, some products are basically the cannabis equivalent of turning the volume knob all the way up. Sometimes you got to ask, is this a relaxing evening, or did I accidentally buy the rocket fuel? The researchers also found that some cannabis users still reported feeling mild effects the next morning, even though their overall cognitive testing looked similar to a controlled group. This is an important distinction. Feeling something and being measurably impaired are not always the same thing. Someone might wake up saying, I still feel a little lifted, but that doesn't automatically mean they can perform a task. Science has to separate the feeling from the measurable effect. One of the biggest takeaways from this study is that dose and potency matter. The results suggested that regular cannabis consumers may not experience major next day cognitive problems after typical use, but higher THC exposures could create more noticeable lingering effects, especially with memory and related tasks. The researchers also pointed out that cannabis affects everyone differently. Factors like tolerance, frequency of use, the amount consumed, the THC percentage, and how cannabis is consumed can all change the experience. And this is why cannabis research is moving from the old school question of, is cannabis good or bad? The better question is becoming, what type of cannabis, how much, how often, and for what person? Those are all good questions. Let me read that again. The better question is becoming, what type of cannabis, how much, how often, and for what person? Just like coffee, One person drinks an espresso and conquers the day. Another person drinks 1 cup and starts questioning every life decision they ever made. Dose matters. The bottom line from the study, for frequent cannabis users, smoking the night before did not lead to obvious next-day cognitive impairment compared to non-users. But very high THC products may increase the chance of lingering effects, especially when it comes to memory. As cannabis keeps getting stronger, responsible consumption and understanding your own limits become more important than ever. Because sometimes the best cannabis knowledge isn't knowing how high you can get. It's knowing what works best for you. And that is the truth.
That's the truth.
Knowing what works best for you. So here's even something better, because now Mrs. Weedman is going to talk about how fewer employees skip work days where medical marijuana is legal, especially for manual labor jobs.
Yeah.
This study shows. Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah. A new study highlighted by a Marijuana Moment is challenging some old assumptions about cannabis and the workplace. Researchers found that states with legal medical marijuana programs saw fewer employees missing work because of illness, injuries, and other health-related issues. The study looked at data from the U.S. Census Bureau and Bureau of Labor Statistics, analyzing information from more than 20 million workers between the ages of 18 and 61 from 1990 through 2025. Researchers from the University of Southern Maine and the University of Georgia found that medical cannabis legalization was associated with about 6.9% decrease in employees missing work due to medical reasons.
Ooh.
Pretty big. The biggest changes showed up in jobs where people put their bodies through the daily grind. Manual labor workers had some of the largest reductions in missed workdays, with researchers finding fewer absences among workers in manufacturing, agriculture, construction, and other physically demanding fields. The reason researchers believe this may be happening is pretty straightforward. Many of these workers deal with chronic pain, repetitive strain, injuries, and physical stress. Having access to medical cannabis may help some patients manage symptoms better, allowing them to stay active and continue working. Now, before someone imagines a construction crew showing up with a toolbox in one hand and a bong in the other, that's not what the study is saying. The research is looking at medical use and symptom management, not people consuming cannabis while operating machinery or doing dangerous tasks. Interestingly, though, the study did not find a significant connection between recreational cannabis legalization and fewer workplace absences. The improvement was specifically linked to medical cannabis access, suggesting the potential benefit comes from treating health issues rather than simply making cannabis available. This adds to a growing conversation about how workplaces view cannabis. For decades, the discussion was mostly focused on whether cannabis use created workplace problems. Now researchers are looking at whether access to cannabis as a medical option can help manage conditions that might otherwise keep their employees at home. Cannabis legalization continues to bring research that doesn't fit the old stereotypes. Studies like this are showing that the conversation is becoming a lot more complicated than simply saying cannabis and productivity don't mix. It turns out sometimes helping people feel better might actually help them punch the clock a little more consistently.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good news.
I think that is very good news.
I think it's actually great news. Political, state, and business news. Alaska is making it easier for people with past marijuana convictions to move forward. A new law allowing eligible cannabis-related convictions to be sealed took effect without the governor's signature. The move reflects a growing trend across the country towards cannabis record reform. Good for Alaska. Kentucky medical marijuana patients will no longer be allowed to bring cannabis purchased from other states into Kentucky. Ooh. Officials say the change aligns with state regulations as the program develops. Patients will need to rely on approved in-state sources moving forward. The cannabis paperwork game continues, proving bureaucracy can sometimes grow faster than the plant. Illinois officials released a new guidance explaining upcoming cannabis law changes and how businesses and consumers will be affected. The bulletin helps clarify regulations surrounding the state's growing marijuana industry. Illinois continues expanding its cannabis framework while regulators try keeping moving on the same page, because in cannabis, the rules sometimes change faster than the dispensary menu. Ain't that the truth? Nebraska officials approved rules allowing marijuana to legally be planted within the state as medical cannabis program moves forward. The decision marks a major step from legalization on paper towards actual production. After years of debate, Nebraska is finally letting the seeds hit the soil. Good for you, Nebraska. A new poll shows Pennsylvania voters strongly support legalizing recreational marijuana, while many respondents blame Republican lawmakers for blocking progress. The state remains surrounded by illegal cannabis markets, but continues debating its own approach. Pennsylvania might be realizing that neighbors aren't waiting around. They're already collecting tax dollars. A new federal report found states collected nearly $15 billion in marijuana-related revenue over the last 5 years through taxes and fees. The numbers highlight cannabis as a major economic contributor. Love it or hate it, the plant keeps proving it knows how to pay bills, and apparently a lot of them. A former Olympian who once competed under strict anti-cannabis rules now studies the plant professionally. Their career shifts reflects how dramatically cannabis attitudes have changed in sports and science. The same plant that was once treated like a career-ending controversy is now becoming a research topic. Talk about a comeback story. New York's cannabis industry appears to be finding more stability after challenging rollout filled with delays, regulations, and market struggles. Legal businesses are gaining momentum as the state continues building its program. Like a slow-growing strain, New York's cannabis market took patience, but it may finally be settling into a smoother cycle. Cannabis policy continues creating political confusion as leaders sending conflicting messages about legalization, regulation, and enforcement. Supporters argue for consistency while opponents debate public health concerns. The plan has become one of the few topics where politicians can somehow say 3 different things before lunch and still call it a strategy. Missouri's marijuana legalization, including automatic expungements for eligible records. But some residents are finding their records remain uncleared. Officials say processing issues and system challenges have slowed progress. Legalization may erase laws quickly, but unfortunately, the paperwork sometimes moves at much slower speed than the legalization, especially if they got computers from like the 1980s or when they still using floppy disk, which I have a feeling probably some of these states still have. The White House is urging Congress to create fair treatment for hemp products instead of moving towards broad restrictions. Lawmakers continue debating how to regulate hemp-derived cannabinoids while protecting consumers and businesses. The hemp conversation remains complicated because apparently everyone agrees the plant matters, but nobody agrees on the rule book. Now I'm passing that joint over to you, Mr.
All right,
Weedman.
let's see if I can get through this without a cough attack. We got some more political, state, and business news. The DEA is defending its position that HHC, a hemp-derived cannabinoid, is federally banned, responding to lawsuits from industry groups. The dispute highlights the ongoing confusion around hemp regulations and synthetic cannabinoids. As the market expands, consumers and businesses are asking for clearer rules. New research is examining cannabis policy and how regulations impact communities, consumers, and public health outcomes. The study highlights the importance of using evidence-based instead of assumptions when creating cannabis laws. Yuki's running her sleep over here.
Is she?
As more states build programs, lawmakers are learning that good policy requires more than opinions. It requires data, patience, and maybe fewer panic buttons. A bipartisan group of senators introduced a marijuana banking bill as federal rescheduling discussions continue. The legislation aims to provide safer financial access for cannabis businesses currently operating in a complicated banking environment. For an industry making billions that's still dealing with banking headaches, it's like trying to run a dispensary using a piggy bank. Hemp THC products remain legal across South Carolina after efforts to restrict sales failed. The decision keeps the state's hemp market operating, while lawmakers continue debating future regulations. Consumers and businesses get more breathing room, but the hemp debate isn't disappearing anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
A Chicago restaurant removed a customer after complaints about the smell of cannabis. The incident sparked conversations about public perception, social acceptance, and how communities handle legal cannabis use. As legalization grows, the smell debate continues. New York opened its first cannabis education center, that's very exciting, designed to help doctors better understand medical marijuana. The program aims to improve healthcare professionals' knowledge about cannabis treatments and patient conversations. As cannabis enters mainstream medicine, doctors are finally getting the education they should have had years ago. Hey, really, it's better late than never, right?
Mm-hmm.
A new discussion highlights how marijuana prohibition limited scientific research for decades. slowing progress in our understanding of the plant. Researchers argue that outdated restrictions created unnecessary barriers to studying cannabis. The irony is pretty obvious. Banning the plant didn't stop people from using it, it mostly stopped scientists from learning about it. Indiana lawmakers and researchers are exploring how data can guide future cannabis policy decisions. Supporters say evidence based approaches can help create smarter regulations and avoid repeating mistakes from other states. 6 states have passed hemp related legislation as federal lawmakers debate possible THC restrictions. States are trying to balance consumer access, business concerns, and safety regulations. The hemp industry is watching closely as rules continue to shift. It's like cannabis policy is playing musical chairs, and nobody knows when the music will stop. California Governor Newsom, what is he up to now? He announced a $227 million funding aimed at fighting illegal cannabis operations and protecting communities. The effort focuses on enforcement against unlicensed activity while supporting the regulated market. California's message is clear. Legal cannabis gets a seat at the table, and the underground market does not get VIP access. Cannabis reform advocates are urging Virginia's governor to remove increased public consumption penalties from legalization legislation. Supporters argue penalties should not undermine the goals of legalization. The debate shows that even after legalization passes, the details matter because sometimes the fine print causes more drama than the headline. Back over to you, Mr. Weedman.
Thanks, Mrs. Weedman. A playground scare involving cannabis gummies in Oklahoma. Officials cracking down on candy-like edible products. Lawmakers are focusing on packaging and child safety concerns as hemp and cannabis products continue expanding. The message is clear. Responsible packaging matters because nobody wants a kid confusing a gummy with a snack and accidentally joining the wrong kind of candy club. That kid ate 1,000 milligram candy.
That's terrible.
Because you can have, well, at one time we read many years ago, they were selling 10,000 milligrams. Remember that in Oklahoma? Yeah. You need to be careful.
Yeah.
1,000 milligrams, a kid was knocked out for like 26 hours.
Wow.
Survived.
Yeah.
But was out cold.
And scary for the whole family and the kid.
Absolutely.
Right?
THC-infused drinks will remain available in New Jersey this summer, but upcoming regulations could change the future. Officials are reviewing how the products fit into the state's cannabis framework. The beverage market is growing quickly, proving people want alternatives beyond smoking. New Mexico is launching new cannabis enforcement efforts targeting illegal marijuana operations. Officials say the goal is protecting licensed businesses and reducing unregulated sales. As legal markets mature, states are increasing pressure on the underground industry. The cannabis world is evolving, and regulators are reminding everyone that not every grow room gets a business license. The underground will never die. Missouri will begin accepting applications for marijuana microbusinesses licensed next month. The program is designed to create opportunities for small operators and promote participation in legal cannabis industry. Microbusinesses programs aim to open the doors for entrepreneurs who may have been left behind. DEA cannabis rescheduling hearings are bringing renewed attention to federal marijuana policy. Officials and stakeholders are debating how cannabis should be classified moving forward. The process could influence research, businesses, and regulations nationwide. After decades of waiting, cannabis reform is finally getting a seat at the federal table, even if the chair is a little squeaky. Cannabis cultivators are facing rising energy costs and searching for ways to improve efficiency. Growers are exploring technology, energy-saving strategies, and operational changes to maintain profitability. Indoor cultivation has always been energy-intensive, and a power bill is becoming part of the business challenge. Medical marijuana ballot initiative in rural Ohio hit a setback after organizers submitted signatures past the deadline. Supporters were hoping to bring the issue before voters, but timing issues created a major obstacle. Cannabis reform battles often come down to paperwork as much as public support. The clipboard can be as powerful as the campaign. A new report suggests medical cannabis access may be linked to fewer employee sick days, with some researchers showing a 7% reduction. Supporters say cannabis may help some workers manage health issues. The workplace cannabis conversation keeps changing. Turns out the plant may have more career options than just sitting in the grow room. A debate is growing over proposals to increase taxes on cannabis businesses. Supporters argue higher revenue can benefit communities, while industry advocates warn excessive taxes could hurt legal markets. Cannabis companies are already navigating complicated regulations, and many are asking for balance because even a successful plant can't survive if the pot gets too heavy. Virginia officials are preparing for recreational marijuana sales expected to begin in 2027. Geez, another year. What's another year, Virginia? You've been waiting, just like Alabama. You're waiting. But 2027 now, they're saying. With tax plans and regulations being developed, the state continues building the framework for a legal marketplace. Virginia's rollout is moving slowly, but the foundation is being laid. Sometimes legalization is like growing a plant. Patience is required before the harvest. Bipartisan lawmakers say Congress will not block the administration's marijuana rescheduling efforts as reform hearings continue. The discussions signal growing federal interest in changing cannabis policy. While disagreements remain, support for reform continues expanding across party lines. Cannabis might be one of those few topics where everyone argues, but nobody leaves the room. The big one here. During rescheduled hearings, federal agencies highlighted research showing marijuana risk compared with substances like alcohol and opioids. The discussions mark a significant moment in federal cannabis policy. Officials are examining evidence that could reshape marijuana classification. The DEA defended moving cannabis to Schedule 3 during federal reschedule hearings, arguing marijuana has accepted medical use and that the current evidence supports changing its classifications. Officials pushed back against claims the process lacks of transparency, while opponents questioned whether the move goes far enough. The hearing could shape cannabis research, banking, and business nationwide. Federal weed paperwork is finally getting the serious rewrite. After years of debate, science is finally getting more attention in the conversation, and the plant is bringing receipts. This whole hearing with the DEA and them not bringing in anybody of importance in the cannabis community industry. They bought 7 people that weren't even a part of the cannabis industry.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have Normal there to
Right.
speak. They didn't have the Last Prisoner Project there to speak. They didn't have any community activists out there to speak. They didn't have any journalists there to speak,
Right.
any like real scientists that have been supporting the plan for decades to speak. They had Smart, which hates cannabis,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They were like top of the list. And on Newsweek, I saw there was a video on TikTok. One of the heads of Smart was being interviewed by Newsweek and or News Nation, whatever the channel is, the political channel is on it was on TikTok though. So this news anchor was asking the person from Smart all these questions, and I'm just sitting there going, I want to be in that room. I want to be in that interview. I want to be the other person talking to that smart kid, maybe not so smart, about cannabis. And unfortunately, he had a bad experience with cannabis in high school. He was a heavy user. I get it, but the way you used it was not correct. And everything you were saying about cannabis has been proven debunk. And it's just a shame that you have all these folks that are not for cannabis speaking, but not one person there that has credibility on cannabis. It's pretty shameful. We'll see what happens with this. It's going to go for like 2 weeks. We'll see. So.
And you were making reference to SMART, which is the SAM,
Yes.
the acronym, Smart Approaches to Marijuana, Preventing Another Big Tobacco. But part of their mission is also, well, do we even want to get into that right now? No.
I don't want to give them anything on my platform at all.
No.
Except to just, and I'm not here to beat anybody
Right.
up. Hey, to each his own. If you are not for cannabis and you want to go against it, that's on you. But we've been fighting for centuries, smart ass, and we will win. Because if not, if you're just going to ruin, this is for recreational, everyone, not for medical. Medical's been passed. That's Schedule 3. This is for recreational to be moved to Schedule 3, so we can get the tax breaks, so we can get better everything. And it's here to stay. Whether the federal government is going to get on board or not, the states, up to the states, right? And it's here. They're not losing that tax dollars for sure. They're not taking away. They're not going to lose those tax dollars.
No.
So, I mean, get with the program. Your experience is different from everybody else's experience. Just because you started in high school and overused it when you shouldn't have, you weren't lied to. It was your own choice. to use
Right.
cannabis the way you used it. No one told you to smoke from the time you woke up, from the time you go to bed in high school. Now, I know there's people, I grew up with people that did that, but, I mean, to each his own. But what they're doing at this hearing is just brutal. I mean, I know the DEA's come out swinging and trying to show that they're for cannabis, but when you don't bring the right people to talk with you, it just shows me you don't give a shit. You hope that the judge goes kind of thing. You're just doing it because you have to be there
They
to
can
do
say
it.
they did it then.
Right, exactly.
But they don't do it well.
Just enough.
Mm-hmm.
Just enough.
Just enough.
So, all right, enough. I digress. Another banger from Reginald Reefer.
Yep.
Recriminalizing cannabis is a spectacular idea if you enjoy spectacular failures. Tell us about it, Ms.
He's
Weedman.
a very good writer. He writes very passionate perspectives on things. And so if you want to read his actual article, the link will be in our the summary of the episode. This is just my summary of his article. So, is recriminalizing cannabis a step back into a failed past? An opinion piece from cannabis.net takes a look at the growing debate over whether some areas should bring back stricter cannabis laws after their legalization and decriminalization efforts. The article argues that returning to criminal penalties would repeat many of the same mistakes that shaped decades of cannabis prohibition. The discussion comes as some critics argue that legalization has created new challenges, including concerns about public consumption, regulation, and the struggles that some legal markets have faced. But the article's main argument is that making cannabis illegal again would not erase those problems. It would simply move the market back underground. One of the biggest points raised is that prohibition didn't eliminate cannabis use. Instead, it created an unregulated market where consumers had fewer protections, products weren't tested, and communities spent years dealing with arrests and criminal records related to cannabis offenses. Supporters of legalization often argue that regulation gives governments the ability to set rules around testing, age restrictions, licensing, and safety standards. The idea is that if people are going to consume cannabis anyway, having it in a regulated system allows for more oversight than pushing everything back into the shadows. Now, there are plenty of issues still being worked out, from high taxes and complicated regulations to competition with the unlicensed market. The industry has definitely hit some growing pains, and nobody is pretending legalization solved everything overnight. But the article argues that those problems are reasons to improve legalization, not abandon it. Going backward would mean losing some of the progress made in areas like medical access, consumer safety, business opportunities, and reducing criminal penalties for adults using cannabis. It's kind of like finding out your first attempt at baking bread didn't come out perfect and deciding, forget it. I'm never going to make bread again. We're going back. We're just going to eat raw flour. The answer usually isn't about throwing everything away. It's about fixing the recipe. The cannabis conversation has changed dramatically over the last few decades. What was once treated almost entirely as a criminal issue is now being discussed as medical, economic, and public policy issue. The debate moving forward isn't just about legal versus illegal. It's about what smart regulation actually looks like. Cannabis laws are still evolving, and there are legitimate conversations to have about improving the system. But history shows that simply putting cannabis back in the criminal category may bring back many of the same problems that people have spent years trying to fix. Please. Really.
I mean, Massachusetts it's gonna be on the ballot.
So crazy.
It's gonna be on the ballot. Maine, most likely gonna be on the ballot.
It's crazy.
Tell me about it.
It doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't, not at all. I mean, Massachusetts is a $1 billion industry.
Figure out good regulations and move forward.
Just crazy.
In the meantime, would you like a 6-pack, 12-pack, 24-pack?
Pack of smokes?
You want a pack of smokes? How about a vape? You can have them all.
Yeah.
Just not before 10 a.m. on Sunday in Michigan.
Will you light that joint up for me?
I will.
Or is your throat okay?
I'm all right.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I've got
Here, let me light it up.
Ricolas.
Let me light
I
it.
got my tea. I got it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want you to have a coughing fit, though. Mrs. Weedman's got a little respiratory thing going on.
I got problems.
Yeah.
What else is new? Health. What is that? Good health, I should say. What? Hey, I'm always working towards being healthier.
Yep.
Some things I just can't control.
I can control this, though. International news.
Yeah.
Canada's Cannabis Council is suspending operations, citing financial pressure, complicated regulations, and strong illegal market, hurting licensed producers. The group says many illegal businesses are struggling despite billions in industry revenue. Legalization was supposed to change the game, but the black market is still playing defense like it never left the field. Come on now. Like I said, it's not going to go away. Too much money. Too much money.
Too much money.
Ooh, that tastes good.
Mm.
Countries around the world continue experimenting with cannabis reform, but each nation is taking a different path. Governments are balancing public health regulations and economic opportunities while learning from early legalization efforts. The global cannabis experiment is still unfolding. Basically, the whole planet is comparing notes while trying to figure out the best recipe. Despite concerns about market struggles, cannabis industrial growth continues as businesses adapt and consumers remain interested in worldwide. Price changings are becoming part of the maturing market as companies compete and evolve. Like and growing industry, cannabis is finding its balance because even the strongest plant needs the right condition to thrive. Guam's first permitted cannabis facility since legalization marks a major step forward building its regulated industry. The operation represents progress from policy discussions into actual cannabis production. As more regions launch programs, the trend is clear. Legalization is one thing, but building the infrastructure is where the real work begins. The UK medical cannabis market is expected to continue rapid growth. And with patient numbers projected to reach around 140,000 in 2026, more products and increased access are expanding the program. Medical cannabis is moving forward into mainstream healthcare conversations overseas, proving the plant's journey from controversy to treatment options is still gaining momentum. A review highlighted how countries legalize cannabis may matter more than simply whether they legalize it. Researchers are examining different regulatory models and their impacts on consumers, businesses, and public health. The worldwide cannabis experiment is showing there's no one-size-fits-all approach. Apparently, even legalization needs its own strain selection. Health Canada ordered an Ontario cannabis store to remove a colorful mural, raising questions about branding rules and cannabis marketing restrictions. Regulators continue balancing public visibility with advertising limits. The industry keeps learning that even a cool wall design can become a regulatory conversation because apparently cannabis art needs permission slips too. And I saw the mural. I saw the whole building was painted in murals. It was absolutely gorgeous. Don't get it. It wasn't offending anybody.
Right.
It was pretty. Pretty amazing. The
In your
artwork.
opinion.
I thought it was pretty amazing.
There's always someone who says, no, I don't like it. And they say no louder than you say yes.
Ugh, terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. We love music. We've been to plenty of outdoor music concerts, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we've always smoked marijuana at our outdoor music concerts we've gone to.
Mm-hmm. Of course. It's part of it.
And so tell us a little bit about this magical mix of outdoor concert music and marijuana. This summer is the summertime season.
Yep.
All the big, what was it, Electrical Forest just happened over the weekend. We got Lollapalooza coming here in Chicago pretty soon. A couple weeks, August. Always something going on.
Riot Fest
is September. Yep. So
North Coast.
Yeah, there's the festival down at Peoria too. That big festival, 3-4 day festival. There's so much. This is just Illinois. There's so much across the country. Just amazing summertime season in the Midwest all the way to the East Coast. I would not want to be in Florida right now in an outdoor festival right now. Swamp ass up. That's great wintertime and fall, early spring.
Yeah.
But right now, this is the season you're talking about all across the north from one end to the other. So this is festival season. So tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Yep. Summer is here, and that means one thing. The outdoor concert season is officially in full swing. A recent article from the Fresh Toast explores the longtime connection between cannabis, live music, and the unique experience that happens when people gather outside under the sun and stars. For decades, cannabis and music culture have grown side by side. From legendary rock festivals to modern-day concerts and camping events, marijuana has often been part of the atmosphere for many fans looking to relax, connect, and fully enjoy the moment. The article points out that cannabis has become part of the overall concert experience for many adults, especially as legalization and social acceptance continue to grow. There's also something about being outdoors that makes live music feel different. A concert under an open sky, surrounded by friends with your favorite songs playing, and the energy of thousands of people around you, it creates a completely different vibe than sitting inside a venue. And cannabis in that mix, many consumers say it can enhance things like the appreciation for sound, creativity, and the feeling of being present in the moment. But as cannabis becomes more mainstream, the conversation around responsible consumption at events has changed too. Concert venues, festivals, and communities are having to figure out how to balance personal freedom with safety, rules, and respect for everyone attending. Not every person at a show wants to be surrounded by smoke clouds bigger than the stage production. Well, why? That's why education and consideration are becoming a bigger part of cannabis culture. Understanding dosage, knowing your limits, and respecting the people around you can make the experience better for everyone. Another interesting part of cannabis and music, the connection, is creativity. Many musicians throughout history have talked about cannabis as something that influenced their songwriting, imagination, or creative process, whether it's inspiration, relaxation, or simply part of a personal routine. Cannabis has played a recognizable role in music culture for generations. And let's be honest, there's a reason people love that summer festival feeling. Good music, good friends, fresh air, and a little relaxation can create memories that stick around long after the final encore. Cannabis and music share a long history built around creativity, community, and self-expression. As cannabis continues becoming more accepted, the future of concerts and festivals will likely keep evolving with new conversations about consumption, safety, and how people experience live entertainment. Because sometimes the perfect summer recipe is pretty simple. Sunshine, a great playlist, your favorite people, and a little green, because it all just makes the sounds hit right. Yeah.
It does hit right.
Uh-huh. It does.
Nothing better than a little outdoor concert and some
Sesh
weed.
music.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Especially when you get a good circle sesh going with people and
Yeah.
you're just passing a few joints around.
Yeah.
We've done that many a times. One of my favorite festivals we've went to twice was Bourbon and Beyond in Kentucky. Yeah. Oh God! Why I like that festivals because it's two stages and you never miss a band.
Yeah.
It's just boom, 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 boom. You just park up.
Yeah, they're side by side. It's so perfect.
Oh, so good. You never miss it, like because you want to see everybody. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like some of the like Lollapalooza, great, it's an experience, but you never get to like really enjoy everything.
You're constantly jockeying for
Yes.
like, okay, we gotta go get a spot for blah blah, all the way at the other end of the park.
Right? Yeah. It just
So you have to miss half the performer, and then you go to the next one, and then you're constantly watching because it's like, all right, we gotta leave at XYZ so we can get over there for a position.
And if you know anything about Grant Park, it's not small.
It's huge. And there's like 8 stages or 20 stages or something
like
crazy.
like 25. It's just insane to like be able to see everybody you want to see. So you have to time it right, and that I don't like anymore.
No.
But Bourbon and Beyond was great. Just boom, 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 boom. You never miss a band. Just amazing. So, Mr. Weedman, that's the end of the show.
Yep.
You got anything else to say before we go?
Well, we're coming up on the 4th of July. So I just want to say happy 4th of July to everybody. And did I just steal your thunder?
No.
All right. Well, thank you to all of our servicemen and women. Thank you for your serving for us and sacrificing for us and keeping us safe. And God bless America. I can't believe 250 years old.
250 years.
And then you go to Europe and you're like, oh, we're really babies.
Yeah, we're babies.
Yeah, but at the same time, happy 250th birthday.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's amazing. Everybody out there, go enjoy this weekend. Go enjoy some life. Go have some fucking fun. Stay cool. Remember, hydrate. Wear cool clothes and be cool out there.
Yep.
We love you. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.